Happy Veterans Day, friends. And we actually mean it here. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm, of course, Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on this very nice, beautiful Veterans Day. So many of you out there over the years, and I know some are more of a sacrifice than others, but so many of you have put your personal lives aside to join the U.S. military. And for that, myself at least, being non-military, I'm super grateful, because if it wasn't for more people like you and less people like me who chose not to go in, probably wouldn't have quite as good a military. And I know that the last 4 years, the Biden administration did all they could to tear that down. And it's good to see that the enrollment rates are skyrocketing right now in our U.S. Armed Forces. Sadly, some people are still picking on veterans, and some people are using the cover of Veterans Day to ask for confiscation of firearms from our veterans. That's right, those who put their lives on the line for this country. Certain organizations are looking to disarm them and take their constitutional rights that they fought for away from them. The Gabby Giffords anti-gun organization thought that today, Veterans Day, would be a good day to put out a post describing their desire to disarm veterans. This was a story that AWR Hawkins from Breitbart News put out today, and glad AWR did that. But it's a shame that we have to see this kind of stuff on Veterans Day, where they take the opportunity, knowing that the world is looking at and being very gracious to our troops out there and our former military, to see an organization like Giffords take the opportunity to slam them and say that we need to do more to disarm them. It seems like every single year, politicians, anti-gun groups, and all these other folks find ways to wrap themselves into the American flag and act like they're doing something in the name of a certain group, when in reality they're looking to actually take something from that particular group. They call it protection. They say it's about preventing suicide. But if you read the fine print, it's about creating yet another government list of people who shouldn't have guns in their eyes, not ours. It's a bureaucratic noose disguised as a helping hand. It's absolutely a Trojan horse. What it essentially is, guys, it's about the anti-gun groups trying to push Congress to disarm veterans whenever they get this. Anytime they seek any kind of help with their affairs, whether it be banking, whether it be finance or whatever, because they're in a crisis situation, these anti-gun groups want them reported to the NICS system to prevent them from being able to purchase firearms. Now, we're all very much aware, I think, that veterans have, and it's not just PTSD, but in general, veterans have a higher or a relatively high suicide rate, right? We're aware of that. We also realize that suicide is a mental thing, right? Can we at least all acknowledge that, including the anti-gun people out there? Truly, we can all agree that something somewhere is amiss when a person makes a decision to take their own lives. Can we at least all agree on that? Now, with that being said, think about this veteran that something is not right in his life and you think he should be disarmed after he just came back from defending your right to protect yourself and to say whatever you want. So these same people are out there wanting to disarm people for getting financial assistance. Maybe it's an older gentleman. I mean, let's be real here. This is real life. Maybe it's an older gentleman or lady who is former military, retired, probably in some cases living in low-income housing. They might need some help. How do I stretch my income, what I'm bringing in from, from pensions and whatnot? How do I get all that, keep my affairs in order? Because I don't know how long I'm going to live. So I need some help with that. So they seek financial help. Whether it's a full-blown handing over of all of their legal responsibilities to manage their money, or just getting assistance officially in that capacity, it's still giving your finances and your decision-making responsibilities to somebody else. Do you honestly think that a person who is concerned with their future should be disarmed just because somebody else is helping with or controlling their finances for them? I would like to think that sounds like a really responsible thing to do. Also, just a hunch here, but that veteran living in that lower income housing, don't you think maybe they need protection more than somebody else not living in that same type of situation? Why would we target that person to disarm them when they're probably in a situation that requires more protection than somebody else that's not in that type of situation? Now, let's be real about all of this. None of what these anti-gun groups are trying to pull stops criminals. The people shooting up neighborhoods and killing others in cold blood don't file VA paperwork. They don't go through background checks, so they would never show up. Gang members are not sitting in VA clinics discussing mental health and fiduciary forms. They're out committing crimes with illegal firearms that they bought or stole. Murderers don't care about flagging systems. The only people these measures catch are the ones trying to follow the law. So I pulled some numbers for you, mainly because I was curious, but let me read a couple of these to you real quick. Total U.S. gun homicides in the United States in 2023 were 18,300, okay? Estimated annual veteran-initiated gun homicides. Get this. Did you know that, I didn't know this, did you know that veterans were underrepresented? Like, if you use them as a percentage of the overall population, and then you take that and you apply that to gun violence, quote unquote, that they call it, or gun deaths, gun-related crimes, veterans have a much lower violent offending rate than civilians do. In that same time frame, there was roughly 1,000 firearm-related crimes initiated by veterans, roughly 4 to 6% in total. This aligns with VA-linked studies on aggression, like PTSD, substance abuse, and intimate partner violence. But the cases in general are extremely rare. So if we're really trying to help these people, we should be okay. I understand a lot of these suicide rates are high, but if we're really trying to help these people, we should help them overall, which means to help them enable themselves to protect themselves regardless of the situation and regardless of who's counting the beans and putting them in the jar for them. Now, if these anti-gun groups really cared about the issue that I think is alarming with veterans, meaning suicide, wouldn't they be more active in trying to contribute to those causes? I'm being honest here. I'm not trying to be facetious. If the Giffords group really cared about veterans and veteran suicide rates, you would think as a nonprofit and as somebody trying to be safe and save the world, they would contribute to something, some kind of cause or effort to try to bring those numbers down. Maybe it would be suicide awareness. Maybe it would be programs to assist veterans that are in a bad situation, the Horses for Heroes type things. I know there's pet organizations out there that work with veterans to work with PTSD type patients and whatnot. There's tons of programs out there, tons, that are already in place to help veterans out there that are struggling, whether it be coming back to civilized world and assimilating, or whether it just be the scars that they're bringing back over from overseas of these senseless wars that we've put them in, and trying to deal with society here, knowing the things that they were, dealt with over there. You would think that a safety-focused, quote unquote, and I use that very loosely because we know that these anti-gun groups don't look for any kind of actual safety, but you would think that they could put their money where their mouth is and actually contribute to that. They don't. The only time that you see them mentioning anything with veterans is whenever they're trying to disarm them and take their guns from them. So they really don't care. I make annual contributions to different organizations out there that they help veterans. They do give aid to these veterans. I actually mentioned some of them. I'm on record doing that. I put my money where my mouth is. I want to make sure that these veterans are taken care of and receive a lot of the assistance and programs out there that will pull them out of that funk. All these ladies at Giffords and these other organizations are trying to do is disarm these people. They don't care. They're leaving behind the suicidal mind and trying to disarm them in the name of safety, trying to say, oh, the suicide rate's too high. Really? Do you think these ladies are this stupid where they actually don't know from a root cause analysis standpoint. I know it's a very simple theory, but it is a thing, one of the few things that I ever got from the Fortune 500 world that I used to work in, that whenever you develop a root cause analysis, you can drill down and find what the actual cause of the problem is. There is not one industry professional in psychology, psychiatry, not one that doesn't have a political axe to grind, I might add, but there's not one out there that will tell you if you develop a true root cause analysis program and apply it to veteran suicide, not one of them would say that a firearm is the problem. Not one of them would say disarming people who are veterans is going to end veteran suicide. You know what they're going to tell you? They will drill it back to a mental condition. Because above all things, and this is an absolute fact, I don't need to Google it, I don't need to grok it, I don't need to do anything with it. The human mind in every single case of suicide, every one, 100%, the human mind made the decision to end their own lives. Then they sought out the tool to do it. So what came first? This ain't the chicken or the egg thing. This is very serious. If we don't get serious about using the tools that we have, like root cause analysis, and going back to where the problem actually starts, and stop trying to stop it midstream, all you're doing is delaying it whenever you try to stop it midstream. You're not doing anything. You have to go back to the source. You have to look for the what? The root cause. If you're not looking for that, or worse, like these ladies at Giffords probably are doing, if you're ignoring the true root cause because it doesn't contribute to your fundraising efforts, then you are the problem. Our veterans are worth more to us than some little poster and bumper sticker that we can put out once a year. If we're willing to throw away their own constitutional rights because we feel like a bumper sticker has a really cool slogan to it, we're missing the big picture here. You truly want to help them? There's a lot of websites out there to look for ways to help veterans whenever they come back home and have to deal with the stress of everyday life here. And I can promise you, the promise to disarm them is certainly not helping them in any way. And if you are ignoring the very fact that the mind is deciding to commit suicide, instead you're going after the gun, again, folks, you are part of the problem. If these old lady at Giffords and the rest of the gun control machine really cared about saving lives, they'd go after the criminals in the streets actually pulling the triggers and not the veterans who fought for the freedoms to own them. But that doesn't fit their agenda, and it doesn't fund their flimsy little fundraising campaigns. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.